Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. Altantuya Shaariibuu's murderer Azilah Hadri has escaped the gallows, with his death sentence commuted to 40 years in jail and 12 rotan strokes. Her family had sent a letter supporting for the sentence to be commuted. Mongolian national Altantuya Shaariibuu's family has backed swapping the death sentence with jail time for her killer, Azilah Hadri. The federal court this morning was informed of this during the hearing of the former police commando's bid to swap his death sentence with life imprisonment over the murder that occurred 18 years ago. Azilah's counsel read out a letter from the victim's father during the death penalty review proceedings today. Her father, Shaariibuu Setev, had wrote to formally request a commutation of Azilah's sentence to life imprisonment. According to the letter, Altantuya's father said he had previously addressed this matter in his letter to the Prime Minister. He said it is crucial to recognize that the United Nations declares the sanctity of life, emphasizing that all beings on this planet have a right to existence. He added that his request stems from a deep respect for the humanity of Mongolians. In April 2009, the criminal court found Azilah and fellow police commando Sirul Azhar Umar guilty of Altantuya's murder and sentenced them to death. Azilah is on death row at the Kajang prison. Sirul, however, flew to Australia before the federal court reversed an earlier Court of Appeal verdict that discharged and acquitted the two men and reinstated their conviction and death sentence in 2015. Speaking to reporters after the case today, Altantuya family's lawyers said the family agreed that 40 years is fair and acceptable for the offense. The lawyer for the family of Mongolian model Altantuya Shaariibuu has stated that the 40 years imprisonment for her murderer is fair and acceptable. Sangeet Kaur Deo said that the victim's father, Shaariibuu Setev, is a strong believer in the sanctity of human life. She said that the father sent a letter in support of Azilah Hadri's bid to commute his death sentence with jail time to her back in August. She added that she later shared the letter with the lawyers of the former police commando who was found guilty of the Mongolian woman's murder in 2006. Sangeet said 40 years is fair and acceptable to the family with regard to the offense Azilah committed. Earlier today, the federal court commuted Azilah's death sentence to 40 years in jail and 12 rotan strokes. His lawyer had relied on the letter for the penalty review bid. Speaking to reporters outside the Apex Court, he said Azilah was relieved at the outcome. He explained that today's proceedings marked the first time a convict had received such a supporting letter from the victim's family for a review bid. PAS has responded to an academic over a statement about the party being dangerous to the nation. This was the response from PAS Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan. PAS has hit back at academic Tajuddin Mohammad Razdi over his threat-level assessment of UMNO Youth Chief Dr. Muhammad Akmal Saleh and PAS. This was in response to Tajuddin's remarks that Akmal appears as a kitten, although feral if compared to PAS, who resembles a tiger that could tear the nation apart. In a statement, PAS Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan said based on this kitten-tiger logic, the individual with the most potential of being a tiger is DAP Vice President Teresa Kok. He said it is not Akmal and surely not PAS, which from the onset reminded everyone about the possible negative implications of failing to control emotions in the halal certification issue. Taqiyuddin also claimed that by focusing on Akmal's remarks against Kok, Tajuddin appeared to submerge Kok's statements about the halal certification, which courted a backlash. As for the academic claiming that PAS was more dangerous to the nation, the Kota Baru MP described this analysis as shallow and advised the professor of architecture to stick to his field of expertise. Taqiyuddin said he was disappointed with the analysis because he expected something with more credibility and quality. However, he said Tajuddin's conclusions were like the rants of an obsessed amateur political commentator. He accused Tajuddin of attempting to conceal the impact of the spat between Akmal and Kok by including PAS in his narrative. Among others, Taqiyuddin also claimed that the academic had cited examples that were weak and stale to support his argument, and this would not pass the standard of a credible analysis. In response, Teresa Kok thanked Taqiyuddin for his comments. Teresa said she too would like to believe that she is like a tiger. DAP Vice Chairperson Teresa Kok has expressed her appreciation to past Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan for believing in her feline prowess. She told Malaysia Kini that she too would like to believe that she is a tiger. Teresa said she would also like to believe that the people who voted for her did so because they wanted a tiger to represent them in and outside of Parliament. She added that she bears her fangs to defend the interests of the nation and its citizens regardless of color and creed. She claimed that unlike past, she did not sow discord for political mileage. Teresa said she didn't spend every waking hour talking about her race and beliefs, nor did she dream about the imagined threats of other races and how to capitalize on them when she was sleeping. She was responding to Taqiyuddin dragging her name into his disagreement with academic Tajuddin Mohammad Razdi, describing Akmal as a kitten compared to Pas, which he likened to a tiger that threatened the nation with its brand of political Islam. Wan Faisal has claimed that Muhyiddin is deeply upset and disappointed with some Bersatu leaders for ignoring the plan for the party's upcoming election. Bersatu Youth Chief Wan Ahmad Faisal Wan Ahmad Kamal has claimed that Party President Muhyiddin Yassin is deeply upset and disappointed with several members of the Supreme Council. This is for undermining the compromise plan for the party elections which had been agreed upon earlier. Without naming anyone, Bersatu Youth Chief Wan Faisal questioned why they were doing so despite agreeing to the plan. Free Malaysia Today reported him as saying that it might still be acceptable for those outside the leadership to vie for vice presidential positions. However, he said those within the Supreme Council who initially agreed to support the president's mandate should not be contesting. He said this behavior is irresponsible as the decision was made together. Wan Faisal said the situation had put Muhyiddin in a difficult position, reflecting poorly on Bersatu and the former Prime Minister's image. He added that the Supreme Council members vying for vice president's posts still can withdraw their candidacy before the party elections on November 2nd to demonstrate their commitment to Muhyiddin's plan. On July 13, Bersatu's top brass came up with an agreement on its next top 5 lineup to ensure unity ahead of the party polls. Based on the proposal, Bersatu's Secretary General Hamzah Zainuddin is to become party deputy president, a post held by Ahmad Faisal Azumu. Meanwhile, Faisal would take up the vice president post, with Muhammad Radzi Jidin and Ronald Kiandi defending theirs. While we are on the topic of the Bersatu polls, Faisal Azumu has called out those trying to align themselves with certain leaders who possess certain clout. He said they should all be part of the president's team. Outgoing Bersatu Deputy President Ahmad Faisal Azumu has acknowledged the existence of factionalism within the party. According to Utusan Malaysia, he said he can see the movements. It wasn't like camps, but some are trying to align themselves with certain leaders who possess certain clout. However, he cautioned them against this, saying they should not get carried away by trying to be in Peja, Hamzah, Azmin or any other leader's team. He told Utusan Malaysia that they want all party members to be part of the president's team, not any other leaders. Without naming anyone in particular, Faisal reminded Bersatu members that a member's struggle must be about how to endear the party to voters instead of becoming a particular leader's apple polisher. He said they should be sincere about the party's struggles and give ideas on how to rejuvenate the party so that you can be seen as a quality member. Bersatu is scheduled to hold its party election next month. Bersatu Secretary General Hamzah Zainuddin is to become party deputy president, a post now held by Faisal. Meanwhile, Faisal will be contesting for one of the party's 3 vice president posts. An UMNO leader has voiced his support for Zahid's call to stop disturbing Harapan. Wan Rosdi said he supported the suggestions, recommendations and advice made by the president. UMNO Vice President Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail has expressed support for Party President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's call to ease tensions among leaders from component parties in the coalition government. Wan Rosdi, who is also Pahang Menteri Besar, described Zahid's suggestions and reprimand as adequate. He also agreed that there was no need for Pakatan Harapan to apologize to UMNO. He told reporters yesterday that the president has made a decision, and that's enough. Wan Rosdi said this when asked to comment on criticisms levelled against Harapan by several UMNO leaders, which prompted Zahid's call. Zahid on Tuesday said he refused to prolong any tensions between leaders of parties in the government and that there was no need for Harapan to apologize to UMNO. Previously, UMNO Supreme Council member Nur Jazla Muhammad, in his analysis of the Makota by-election last month, had called on Harapan to apologize for the coalition's decades of attacks against UMNO. The Johor BN deputy chief, however, also said that as a loyal UMNO member, he would comply with Zahid's orders and cease further attacks. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.